Hello, this is McD the Beast, and this is McD Sports 4 coming to you today with my Alabama football predictions for the 2020 college football season. Before I continue, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Please subscribe to the channel. Greatly appreciate if you do that. I'm really trying to grow this channel. We have a subscriber goal for 500 subscribers by August 29th. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Greatly appreciate it if you do that, and you won't regret it. So Alabama last year, probably the most disappointing year in a very long time for them, despite going 10-2 and winning the Outback Bowl or the Citrus Bowl. I forget which one. I know it was one of those two against Michigan. Both of them were like the same to me. I think it was the Citrus Bowl that they won. Yeah, the Citrus Bowl, because Minnesota was in the Outback Bowl against Auburn. But they won the Citrus Bowl against Michigan. They hope to maybe get back to the college football playoffs. First time they ever missed the college football playoffs since the inauguration of it in 2014. And they hope to get back there. We'll see if they get back there. So let's start off with things I like about the Alabama Crimson Tide this year. Nick Saban. Nick Saban is the best head coach in college football. He might be the best head coach in football. Nick Saban knows exactly what he's doing. I mean, when 10-2 is a disappointing season, like you had the previous year, that means you guys are really damn good. So Nick Saban, that to me that is the number one thing I like about Alabama, that their head coach is Nick Saban. And two, the talent. They recruit top 5 every year at Alabama. They can compete with the best of them. They always do. I mean, the 2 losses from Bama last year were both one possession losses. So that tells you all you need to know about Alabama's talent, in my opinion. To me, Alabama, talent-wise, is top 5 in the country. The one thing I don't like about this team, however, is the possible quarterback controversy. Mac Jones, I think, will be the starter going into the season, but this Bryce Young, and I'll admit I have not seen any of this guy's highlight reel from high school, but a lot of people think Nick Saban's going to insert him into the starting quarterback role, possibly in week 2, going into your week 2 game after the USC game. Now, granted, I don't know if Bryce Young is even going to play this year, honestly. But to me, there's a big question, a big controversy, I think, brewing around that. And to me, whenever there's a quarterback controversy with a team, that is something I kind of don't like, because it means that the coaching, like, I just don't like quarterback battles that go on the field. Have that during training camp, not pushing it on the field. That's my big problem with it. But that's the thing maybe I don't like about this team. But besides that, I like everything else about Alabama in the 2020 college football season. 3 toughest games. Your 3 toughest games are Georgia, LSU, and Auburn, all in the SEC. You get Tennessee every year in the SEC East as your locked rival. And then you get another matchup, and this year is Georgia at home. To me, that is a top 3 game of the year. I cannot wait for it. I think it's going to be a pretty huge game. LSU, they beat you last year. The game's in Baton Rouge. To me, that's always one of your 3 toughest games. The same thing with Auburn, Iron Bowl. They did beat you two out of the last 3 years. Now, granted, both of them were in Jordan Hare. The one time it was in Tuscaloosa, you guys ran them out the building in the second half. But you never know the Iron Bowl. To me, those games are always a lot closer than expected. So that's why I will go and put that as one of your 3 toughest games. Your 3 easiest games: UT Martin, Kent State, Georgia State. UT Martin, Kent State, Kent State in the MAC. UT Martin, FCS, Georgia State, Sun Belt. So definitely your 3 easiest games there. Your best case and worst case scenario. Your best case scenario is 12-0. Your worst case scenario is 10-2. A lot of people are predicting Alabama to go undefeated. I do think there's a possibility you guys could lose 2 games. We'll see how many games I have you guys losing. But I do think there's a possibility that you guys don't go undefeated. So I said worst case scenario 10-2. But I don't think you guys go any worse than 10-2 like you guys were last season. So let's look at the schedule. Here's the schedule right here in front of you. 12-game schedule. Your out-conference schedule. UT Martin, Kent State, Georgia State, and then your other out-of-conference game, which is probably going to be your orange-ranked matchup on Saturday. And we'll start off with this one. Neutral site game in Dallas against USC. USC is a team. They're trying to contend for that Pac-12 South this year. I haven't done their football prediction video yet, but they are trying to contend for the Pac-12 South. A lot of people think this game is going to be somewhat competitive, but not really that close. I tend to agree with that. I do think Alabama gets the win here in Dallas. I just feel like Alabama's the much better team. I think at the end of the day, Bama is just gonna it's just gonna be out physical them. Um, they're gonna basically outplay them. Every aspect of the game, I think Alabama's better than USC is, and I think at the end, this game's a 3-touchdown game. So give me Alabama to win that Week 1 game against USC. Week 2, Georgia State. Now, Alabama better be careful here. Ask Tennessee what happened last time they played Georgia State. Tennessee lost. So, Alabama better be careful. Georgia State is one of those teams. They could definitely go ahead and pull off an upset, go into a SEC stadium and do it. But it's not going to happen. I mean, let's be real. That was a once-in-a-lifetime event right there, what we saw Georgia State do last year. This game's going to be a blowout. It'll be over by halftime at the worst for Bama. Week 3 game, Georgia, big game. As I said, top 3 game of the year right here. I cannot wait for this one. I think this is a top 10 matchup right here. I am guaranteeing it's going to be a top 10 matchup. I went back and forth with this one. I already did the Georgia football prediction video, so go check that out. But after going back and forth, it came down to 2 things: coaching and talent, and the home field advantage. So 3 things. Talent-wise, I do think Georgia is right there with Alabama. I don't think there's really anybody has an edge with the talent. I think the talent's dead even. But coaching and home field advantage has to go to Alabama, and that's why I give Alabama the win here. Now, I think it's a one-possession game at the end, but at the same time, I just think Nick Saban will outcoach Kirby Smart in this one. And I think that's going to be your main difference. That and the home crowd behind them. Grant, I don't know how much you're going to be in the stands in Alabama. I'm tending to think it might be a full house. I know that sounds kind of crazy right now, but looking at the numbers, I think some of these states are just going to say screw it, we're having a full house. The team we're doing tomorrow, which I'll tell you at the end of the video, the team we're doing tomorrow, I think they are going to have a full house because they came out and announced it. So we'll see what happens. But I do think you guys get the win over Georgia. I think you guys are actually a better team than Georgia, honestly. So give me Bama over Georgia in that one. Next game, Kent State win. Kent State, listen, I like how they coach. I think they have a good coaching staff there in the MAC conference, but there's no way they can compete with Alabama. Kent State will get blown out by Alabama. I think Alabama gets a very easy win there. Next game at Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin is the new head coach at Ole Miss. Listen, he's going to be swinging for the fences against you guys, okay? It's going to be wide open. He really wants to beat Saban badly. He really wants to beat Alabama badly this year. Unfortunately for Lane Kiffin, Alabama is a much better team than Ole Miss right now. I do think Ole Miss has a pretty damn good offense, so I do think they'll score some points on you, like they did last year. I think they hung 31 on you, but at the end of the day, Alabama, I expect them to win this game by about 4 touchdowns because I just think talent-wise, Alabama is much better. I think Ole Miss's defense is pretty bad for SEC standards. Next game at Arkansas, win. Listen, Arkansas is one of those teams. They are in a long rebuilding mode. I actually really listen. I'll be honest with you. I was not high on the Sam Pittman hire. I'll admit I'm wrong on that, and you might be like, "Oh, they haven't played a game yet." But here's the thing: coaching staff he hired, outstanding. Recruiting, pretty damn good. So I'm going to try to give him the benefit of the doubt. It's going to be a rough 2-3 years there at Arkansas, in my opinion, but they need to be patient, that fan base. But you guys should get the win. I know some of the move, but you guys should get the extremely easy win there. Okay, come back home against Mississippi State. New head coach there, and Mike Leach. He runs a system that tends to be a struggle for Nick Saban's defense. I do think Alabama gets the win at the end because I just think they're a much better team. But I do expect Mississippi State to score some points on them. I could see this game maybe being something like 49-28, maybe only getting out there with a 3-touchdown win for the Crimson Tide because I just feel like Alabama. I just feel like Alabama's the much better team. But I also feel like Mississippi State's going to score some points in this game. But at the end, Alabama's going to win that game. Next game at Tennessee, 3rd October, and yeah, 3rd Saturday in October. That's what the rivalry's called. I can't remember the last time Tennessee won this one. It has to be at least a decade. I went back and forth with this one. I actually really did go back and forth with this one because Tennessee has 4 big opponents on the schedule, and I do think they're going to upset one of them. But it's not going to be this one. Alabama's going to win this one. The reason why is because Tennessee doesn't really have much of an offense, and Alabama's defense will take advantage of that. Alabama's offense is good enough to maybe score 24 to 27 points, and they'll get out of here with a win. Sort of like last year, Tennessee will keep it competitive, but at the end, I think Bama wins this game by about 14 to 21 points. I just think they're a better team. I know the game's in Knoxville, but go ahead and give me the Crimson Tide in that one. Then you get your bye week. Your bye week always comes before LSU. It has forever, at least since I've been watching college football. LSU, and that's actually a road game, the LSU game. So that my apologies for that. That's actually a road game. I meant to play that at LSU. I went back and forth with this one. If you saw the LSU football predictions, you already know who I have. I went back and forth. I think Alabama does lose a game this year. I think it's going to be this one. The reason why is A, it's in Baton Rouge. To me, that's a big home field advantage. 2, LSU, they're recruiting now at your level. All of a sudden, now LSU, I think can compete with you. Under Les Miles from like 2012, even into Ed Orgeron the first year or two, I didn't think LSU could really compete with you guys because I thought you guys had more depth. LSU can now compete with you guys. Now, granted, you guys could easily go in there and beat them, but at the end of the day, I gotta go with LSU. I just think, and I do think Alabama will be the favorite going into this game, but I just think LSU, they're gonna circle this game and they're gonna look to kick your ass again like they did last year. But let's be honest, I was an ass kicking last year, 33-13 at halftime. A lot of those points were garbage time for Alabama in the second half. Now, and this is gonna be a one possession game either way, in my opinion, but. Go ahead, give me LSU in the upset over Alabama. And by the way, that should be a road game. It should say at LSU, not LSU in Tuscaloosa. My fault on that. UT Martin at home. Your final 3 games are home games. UT Martin at home. I do think you guys beat UT Martin. FCS opponent, obviously. You guys should beat them pretty easily. So, yeah, Bama wins that one. Next game, Texas A&M. Yeah, Texas A&M. A&M. I always have a bit of a tongue twister when I say Texas A&M. But Texas A&M. Listen, last year, people were like, "Oh, this is the game. This is the game. They're gonna show up and win. Alabama's gonna get upset." Alabama blew them out. I think it was 49-28 the final. I want to say so 3-touchdown win. I think that last touchdown was more like a garbage touchdown for Texas A&M. So I went a bit back and forth with this one because I do think Texas A&M is going to be a lot better this year. But at the end of the day, I just think and listen, they have a hell of a head coach in Jimbo Fisher there. Alabama's just going to out physical them. The physicality is going to come down to the trenches, and Alabama's just going to win the battle. I expect out because Texas A&M. Recruiting wise, at least the past 2 years, they can hang with Alabama talent wise. It's going to come down to in the trenches, and I just think Alabama's going to win that battle. It's also in Tuscaloosa. I think Alabama wins this game. I think it's a physical game. I can see it, but at the end, give me Bama by 2 touchdowns. I mean, it really comes down to physicality, and Alabama, I think it's just the better team when it comes to that. And then the final game of the season, the Iron Bowl. Um, Listen, I did go back and forth with this one as well. Last year they did beat you and join here. Previous year when it was, I mean, 2 years ago when last time it was in Tuscaloosa, it was you guys smacked them around like a 2-by-4 in the second half. But I went back and forth. I do think Alabama gets the win, but I think it's only by 7 to 10 points. I do think Auburn's going to keep this close. I don't know exactly what to think of Auburn this year because they're kind of a wild card in my opinion. But even if Auburn, let's say they're 11-0 going into this game, I will pick Bama to win this game because it's in Tuscaloosa. A and B. Auburn doesn't have the talent to compete with Alabama year in and year out. Now, granted, they have beat them the past 2 out of 3 years. That's great for them. But I mean, let's be real. Gus Malzahn, outside of those two wins in 2017 and 2019, he only beat Bama once. So it just tells you that they can't really compete with them every year. And I think that was his first year in 2013 when he beat Bama, yeah, with the kick six. So a kick six, a missed field goal in 2019. 2017 was really the only true game that they really beat you in, because the other two could have really gone either way. So it just tells you all you need to know the recruiting difference between Alabama and Auburn. Basically, I don't think Auburn can really compete with them every year. But I do think this is a 7 to 10 point game. It will be competitive at the end. Give me Alabama. So count up all the wins and losses here. I do have the Alabama Crimson Tide going 11-1 and 7-1 in the conference. 11-1 and 7-1 in the conference. If you saw the LSU football prediction video, Alabama does have a better record than LSU. LSU has a 6-2 conference record, but go check out that video for the LSU Tigers. Really appreciate if you do that. But we'll see what Texas A&M and Auburn. We'll see what their records are. But I do think, as of right now, Alabama will. If you're watching the videos, Alabama will come out of the West according to my predictions. Until you watch the A&M and Auburn video, just watch those to make sure. But right now, Alabama does beat LSU in the West. But comment down below. Tell me what you think. I always like hearing from you all. Tell me what you think about Alabama this year. Thanks for watching. Hit the thumbs up button. Please subscribe to the channel. Greatly appreciate if you do that. And this is McD the Beast signing off.